Hello and welcome to the Real Entrepreneurs with Sergio Angulo. I'm your host, Sergio Angulo, yours truly. This is episode number 2, and today we have an amazing guest I am super excited to have on the show. But before we introduce her, let me tell you a little bit about this amazing top producing entrepreneur. She has been in the industry, in the commercial real estate industry, for a little bit under 3 years. And as an associate agent at Leon & Stell, she specializes in multifamily sales and investment properties throughout Los Angeles. With her background in entrepreneurship and marketing, she is killing the real estate market. Evelyn Baez Gonzalez, welcome.
Woohoo! Thank you, Sergio, for thinking of having me here.
Absolutely.
It's been a pleasure knowing you for a few years and also seeing you grow, and you've seen me grow, and you were one of like the stepping stones to my career. So thank you for also giving me all those opportunities when I needed someone to help me learn more about the industry.
Awesome. Well, honestly, we thought long and hard about who we're going to have on this second episode of this, revolutionary podcast that we're doing on entrepreneurship and business. And I couldn't have thought about anybody else. You are really an inspiration to a lot of people wanting to get into real estate, specifically, commercial real estate. And honestly, I'm super excited. So I can't wait. Let's dive right into it. Okay. So, I guess like I thought long and hard about like what I want this question to be, right? The first one. And I guess I just want you to tell the listeners, what is a commercial realtor?
Yes. So a commercial realtor, you're helping a client, investor buy, sell, or lease a business property. So you're basically helping investors buy a business opportunity. But I mainly focus on multifamily. Okay,
so you're a commercial realtor. You are specifically focused in multifamily, right?
Multifamily.
Okay, and you're like helping investors find good deals, like
yes,
or helping them sell their properties, right? Is that kind of what's going on? Okay, and okay, cool. I mean, totally opposite, right, from what I'm doing. I'm focused. Yes, if you guys don't know, I'm focused in residential real estate, right? So it's interesting, right? I mean, it's like I think it multifamily and I guess residential has they have some parallels, right? But they're definitely completely different for sure.
Yeah, definitely less emotional, and that's one of the reasons why I do like dealing with commercial clients, because in some cases, sometimes I don't even meet my clients.
Oh, interesting.
Sometimes I've never met the seller, never met the buyer, because they don't live in California. They live out of state. Some of these buyers are more about numbers, so they're all about just send me, P&L, send me rental income, send me bank statements. That's all I really care about. And I trust you to just send me some videos. Everything's okay as long as they pass the city inspection report, show me proof, and let me know when was the last time they increased rents, and we'll go from there. There have been 2 times where I never met the buyer, that I represented the buyer, because it was mostly them making the decisions, but then I met their property manager who takes over. And a lot of these owners also never really step foot on these multifamily properties, because it's just all numbers. They're just trying to add to their portfolio and keep adding to their portfolio.
Do you work with like a select few kind of okay, so you have like a select few clients, right, that you kind of work with?
I work with a few buyers. I try to stay away from buyers because buyers are liars. They waste a lot of your time.
Yes.
So my main focus is dealing with sellers, because they're real. You get the listing, and it'll sell if you market it right, price it right, and you are able to negotiate what they're looking for. So the buyers I do deal with are active buyers who are actively looking in that area. So if I'm right now mostly just focused in South Central LA or South LA, and there are really big buyers in that area who I know if I get a good deal, that's it. It's done. So those are the only buyers I'll deal with because I know they're ready. They're ready to make a good offer.
They're not playing games, right? Cool. Very cool. Nice. I like it. I like the answer. With so much competition in your profession, okay, what makes you, what makes you Evelyn? How do you differentiate yourself from everybody else?
Yeah, so when I first started in commercial real estate, one thing I did notice that really stood out to me was that there aren't a lot of Latina female commercial brokers. There's a lot of, it's a very white male dominated industry, and a lot of these big brokers from Marcus & Millichap, CBRE, Lion Star, they're all, it's male dominated, like 40-year plus, and I don't look like them. Yeah. So that's something I was intimidated of when I first started because, I'm young, Latina. I don't have that background. I'm not white.
Yeah.
And it's something that I may struggle with. But one thing I did notice that I have that they don't have is the weapon of being able to speak Spanish. They don't speak Spanish. And that's something I have that I am able to market myself with to sellers. Like, hey, I can reach this market, but I can also reach the Spanish market as well.
Yeah.
And a lot of these sellers that I've been dealing with are Spanish speaking, and the mentors who I work with or my senior brokers don't speak Spanish. So I'm able to see that I'm able to hit different type of sellers, segments, markets, because I speak Spanish. So that's something I feel that I have very valuable right now in this industry.
Wow, that's awesome. Latina, a woman in a male-dominated industry, and you are like killing it. And I mean, honestly, I think I don't know that many commercial realtors, but the ones I know, it's like a lot of them are just kind of like, they almost seem a little boring, honestly. But you have something that I don't know if it's just your energy or you have something that you bring to the table that makes you different. So I know definitely you are differentiating yourself from everybody else for sure.
Right. Everyone's so stiff in the industry too. All these commercial brokers are very like straightforward, no character, and very like quick and off on the phone. And when I'm talking to other people, I've gotten a lot of, it's nice to hear a different voice. It's nice to talk to a real person and someone who doesn't think that, because you're wearing the title, you have to act a certain way, you have to behave a certain way. And with me, it's more like, hey, how are you? Like, and just
having
crack
a conversation with them. Yeah. And it's like, even though it's business, right? You're, like you said early on, you're selling a business opportunity to someone, right? They're still people. Like, they're still people. They still want to have a relationship with someone. They want to, people like to do business with people that they like, right?
Right.
And so I think that's, in my opinion, part of your success is that you connect with people and you build that relationship first, and then you go into the business. Sounds about right?
Yes.
Yeah. So what's one goal that you have reached in your career that you are actually very, very proud of? The number one thing that you're proud of that you've reached?
Yeah. So something I'm really proud of right now is, I've only been in the industry for 2 years and 7 months. I'm barely going to my third year.
Did you guys hear that? 2 years, 7 months, and she's killing it, okay? Doing just like, lots of deals and working with some big names out there. 2 years, 7 months. Okay, and so what is that one thing that you're proud of?
Yeah, so I like to measure everything in life, like my success, my goals, my habits, like how much I'm doing, revenue, all that. So my first year that ended last year, because like the first 7 months that I started were very, cold calling, no business, nothing. And then my first official year where I was bringing in business, I closed a total, I think, 8.9 million total in sales.
Wow.
And so I told myself, okay, I made this much and I closed this much. So in order to get better, I need to do double. I can't just stay here because that's not enough. I have to keep doing more and more and more. So I started tracking my process and I started realizing I need to sell more these units. I need to sell more of like this amount and blah, blah, blah. So as of today of this year, 2022, August, I've closed at least 12.5 million. So I'm almost reaching double, and we're not done. But my goal at the end of the year is to hit double of sales.
So like 16 million total?
I have 20.
Okay, 20 as a goal.
So we'll see, but it is 20. Yeah.
Oh, I'm sure you're gonna reach it. That's amazing. 20 million in sales, and you've been in the business for 2 years and 7 months.
Yeah.
That's something to be proud of.
Yeah, it's not something I did by myself either. It's something that when you do commercial, you need a lot. You have a lot of you have to do a lot of like preparation, a lot of studying. You need to have someone who's going to show you the ropes and show you how to be successful like they are. You can't just do it on your own and expect, like residential, you can sell a home and then TC will take care of it and then that's it. But when you're doing commercial, you kind of have to learn how you can make the sell double. Like my goal every time I get a listing is to convince the seller, okay, we're selling, but we're doing an exchange. We're going to do this and then get more sales. So that's how I see myself making more sales and more money for myself, and also building them generational wealth, how to, leave a legacy behind. Like, you have a 4-unit in City of LA, but let's sell. You don't owe anything. Let's get you another 4 here in Montebello, another in Linwood, get 10%, So that's how I try to structure my business.
Got it. Wow, that's awesome. Okay, very cool. Well, you said like you want to double, right? Like what you did from last year. Like where is that drive coming from? Because not a lot of people have it, right? Like, I mean, like I'm totally about like doubling up. Like every year I want to do double of what I did last year. And we've been doing that, right? But like, where does that drive come from? Because I hear a lot of realtors, and they're like, yeah, I want to be successful. I want to do deals, but it's never like, I want to do double of what I did last year. You don't hear that quite often. So where does that drive come from, Evelyn?
Well, I mean, I grew up as an entrepreneur since I was like 6 or 7, 8 years old. I think that's where I kind of figured it out, because I was always that kid selling candy, bookmarks, pencils at school for no reason. And then even in 5th grade, I had my friends be my employees. Oh, okay. I had them I bought colored pencils and bookmarks, plain colored pencils and bookmarks, and then I had them paint them, add glitter, and then we would sell them, and then I would give them money every Friday. Yeah. And
oh my gosh, that's so cool.
My teacher once told me, she's like, you're going to become a successful businesswoman. And I remember that. And I don't know where she's at to this day. Like, I want to find her. I want to tell her, look at me. But I've always had that drive. But what really drives me is my dad. I mean, It was my mom and dad, but my mom passing away, I think that kind of added a lot of fire to me last year, because that happening just really added so much fire. Because
how did that add?
Well, I thought, okay, my mom, I'm part of my mom. Like, my mom built me. I want people to know that my mom didn't raise no quitter. My mom didn't raise a baby.
Yes.
I want people to know that she left a legacy behind, and I kind of want to also make her stand out. Have people realize, oh wow, that's her daughter. She's doing so good. I kind of want to give my mom that recognition, and also my dad, who I have left, and also because I'm my dad's only daughter, his last name ends with me. So while I still have it, I want his last name known. That's why it's Evelyn Baez. Yes. And so it goes more deeper. Like, I want Baez all over. And I want my dad to know, wow, like, that's my last name.
Yeah.
And it's just my dad. My dad's what's really driving me.
That's awesome. And so that's why you always say Evelyn Baez Gonzalez, because it's like you want that legacy to continue as
my parents.
That's awesome.
So that's my drive, them.
That's amazing. You haven't been in the business for too long, right? Before you started, now you're 2 years and 7 months in, but before you started, what was one skill that you wish you would have prioritized early on? So, in other words, what's one bit of advice that you can give someone that's looking to get into the business? What's one skill that they should focus on before they jump into commercial real estate?
So before, I mean, one thing I wish I didn't do before being commercial is, I guess, partying with my friends.
Okay.
That's something I think I wasted a lot of time on, and just going out, wasting money. And now I think about it because I have a different mindset. Like, what was I celebrating? There was nothing to celebrate or be proud of. Like, I wasn't closing sales. Like, why was I going out? Why was I wasting money? So now I wish, less partying, just focus, maybe meeting the right people who can inspire you. But also a lot of self-development.
Okay. So like focusing on themselves first, right? Like kind of fixing what's inside, right? Making their priorities, and then like going out and executing and just killing it, right? That's the one skill. Okay.
Like building the mindset you need.
I feel like you've always had that, right? The mindset. So I think, in my opinion, it's like you have the mindset, but it's like, how do you like add to it, right? Like, how do you make it stronger, right? Because like I feel like there's some people that just aren't in the right like headspace, right? They're like they are not there. They're never gonna have the mindset. But it's like when you have the mindset to like grow and be successful, how do you make that mindset stronger? How do you build on it? And I think it's ultimately bringing people around you, right? That build you up, right? So it's interesting. I mean, I at least that's my take on it. That's the way that I started. When I first got into real estate, like I got laser focus. I like, and I had a lot of friends that like, I lost a lot of friends. I lost people that, were like telling me, like, why aren't you coming out with us anymore? Why don't you like come out every Friday and Saturday and drink? And like, and at one point it was like, oh, why am I losing these people? Am I doing the right things? But then suddenly you start like circling yourself with all these other people that have the same goals as you. And it just,
adds fire.
It adds fire. Absolutely. Like, I guess currently, market shifting, right? There's a lot of things happening, right? We were kind of talking about it before the podcast. What's one strategy that you're currently doing to build your book of business, right? And to lead generate?
Yeah, so something that I'm still doing, and how I started was I did a lot of cold calling. When I first started in the industry, I was doing 300 cold calls a day, 6 times a week, except for Sundays. And I still do that now, except now that when I'm a little bit more busier, it's hard to hit 300 calls. So
300 calls a day?
A day.
Wow.
300 a day, just from 8 a.m. to 7 p.m. Just cold calling, getting leads. But that's one of the reasons why last year I had a huge success, because it was a domino effect. Like all these leads just kept coming from all my follow-ups.
Wow. So
now I'm only doing maybe 100, 150, 200. It's very rare because I'm just so busy I can't do calls.
So much going on.
But aside from
how long
that,
does it take you to do like 150 calls? Or how long does it take you to do 300 calls?
300 calls, I would say 8-10 hours. Because you got to add in, if you're having a good conversation, 30-minute calls or something. But when I'm doing only follow-ups, I'm only doing maybe like 80 a day, because it adds up. Those minutes add up and you're just there. But now what I'm really trying to do differently is, if I see a property that I think, looks like it could be it's
a good
worn
deal
down and maybe I could sell it, I will write down the address. I'll send them letters. I'll door knock if they're there. So now I'm doing that. I've never actually done that.
Oh, okay.
So we'll see how that goes.
So you're getting out there. You're getting into so you're not just like in the office, like cold calling. You're actually out on the field, door knocking on those houses, on those properties.
Saturday nights or Sunday evenings. I call my Sundays now driving for dollars.
So I'm
trying to do that now.
That's awesome.
But I have been sending a lot of personal mails.
Like handwritten letters. Yeah, that's been working for us. We've looked into different services to like that use they use like machines to write out the letters, so we could do that scale. But yeah, that's something that we're doing also. I think adding a personal touch is gonna be what's different from all the other agents right now, right? Most agents are just like doing the same thing, cold calling, which is great, right? But like you need to do a little bit more, and you need to be different than everybody else. And I think handwritten letters are great. That's totally a good one.
And I think it's working because last week I got a really, really nasty email from someone who I sent a letter to, and they were just like, I can't believe you are sending deceiving letters. Really? Like, you made me really believe that this was a personal letter. And I said, well, it's working. He thought it was real.
Yeah. Wow, that's interesting. I mean, it's interesting those like hate emails that we get every so. I probably get one once a week, honestly. But it's like it's part of the business, right? You have to just like take the punches and keep going, right? Question for you. This is a big one for me. And you kind of touched based on it a little bit earlier on, but like you told me what drives you, right? Mm-hmm. What motivates you? I think that's different, right? Like the drive is coming from somewhere, right? You said it's like your parents. Mm-hmm. But like where's the day-to-day motivation coming from? Like how do you like get on the phone and be like, I'm going to make 300 calls? Like, what is it? What is it that's motivating you?
Well, before I can get motivated, I kind of know that, everybody knows their body better than anybody else. Like you need to know what's going to get you up, what's going to give you energy, what's going to pump you up. So the first thing I do in the morning is I have to work out to get those endorphins going. And that way, I can motivate myself. But I think after reading The Compound Effect and Atomic Habits, those two books combined, it made me really realize that, your environments, what you do, how you place things in the day, like everything plays a major role to what's going to motivate you, So I would encourage people reading those two books if you haven't.
What were those again?
The Compound Effect and Atomic Habits. Atomic Habits. They just really give you a new perspective of how to motivate yourself when you can't find that drive in you. Like, for example, you want to go to the gym early in the morning, but it's hard, right? So why not get your gym outfit ready, have your gym bag ready, remind yourself why you want to work out. Like, for me, working out means living a long life. I want to live a long life. I want to live 90, 100. I want to actually live a long life. Like, I crave and I desire. Like, that's what I think of. I need to work out because I can live a long life. I don't want to die early. I don't want to be unhealthy and die. So that's what drives me, like just living a long life. I want to have kids. I want to have a family. I want to see my grandkids. I want to see all of that. Wow. So that's what kind of drives me. Yeah. But the cold calling, I want to live a good life. I want to be able to provide. And if I don't make those calls, I'm not making money.
You're not making money. Yeah.
Gotta put in those hours.
Gotta get those checks deposited, right? That's the name of the game. I like it. Well, tell our listeners where they can, where can they connect with you? Where can they find you?
Yeah, you can find me on Instagram. It's at official Evelyn Baez. And my business Instagram is Baez Investments.
Awesome. And email and phone number?
My number is 951-902-3006. And my email is evelyn@lionstaw.com.
Awesome. Very cool. Okay. Now, for the next part of the show here, we like to play a little game called Hot or Not. The way that the game works is I'm going to tell you a topic or statement, and all you need to do is respond hot or not. You can say something like super hot, on fire, right? Or you can say cold, not at all, right?
Okay.
So, for example, if I say a statement like running at the beach, you would say
hot.
Okay, cool. Very cool. So we get it. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Online leads.
Not. Never.
Cool. Door knocking.
Hot.
Hot? Just like
hot now.
Hot now? Yeah. Okay. Was it hot before?
No.
It was like a little warm?
Because being a female, you kind of don't know what you're signing yourself up for,
Totally.
For a guy, no problem. But I think about what can happen to me if I go by myself. Like, drag
up,
me in, and then that's it, done. Nice
bye.
knowing you guys. Like, I think of
Commercial agent gone. It's just not okay. So it's a little scary as a female. Okay, so but now you're doing it. You're doing it safely now.
Well, I take my fiance.
Okay,
he will act
shout out
like
to
Lawrence.
Lawrence. Shout out.
He will either come with me,
Okay.
or he will pretend he's just a random stranger and stay there, or he'll park in front of the car and just watch me. And then when I leave, I just get in the car and yeah.
Oh, cool. Nice. Good tip. Cold calling.
Yes. Very, 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 very hot. Essential.
On fire.
Like
it's burning.
Yeah. I'm doing
burning the house down.
I'm doing cold calling until I'm done.
What time to what time?
I really, really like 2 p.m. to 7:30 p.m.
Okay.
But that's only if I'm calling Spanish-speaking owners, because that's the time they're home. For investors, commercial, 5 units plus, anywhere from 9 to 3 p.m., because those are their business hours, and they don't appreciate when you call them after hours or weekends. That's just not them. So I kind of learned how to switch. Is
that some advice that someone gave you, or you just learned that?
I learned that because at my office, I'm the only one that speaks Spanish.
Oh, wow.
So a lot of, I just noticed like the success
only one
that
speaks Spanish out of how many agents?
So we have 120 agents. When I first started, I was the only one who spoke Spanish, and I'm not gonna lie. I mean, I got in a few listings because other agents picked up a Spanish speaker and they said, I need a Spanish speaking agent. And so I'm still getting that.
Yeah.
And, I know it's not fair for some people, but hey, there's a Spanish speaking community college down the street. So start taking Spanish now.
Yeah, exactly.
But there are 120 agents. There are 40, 30 junior agents in our office, and only 3 of them are women. Wow. And then there are, I think 10, 15 senior brokers. There's only 2 female brokers too. Wow. So there's not a lot of female brokers in the industry.
Let alone Latinas.
And that's something I really, really strive for. And I do want to. I want to be a top Spanish-speaking broker in commercial.
Wow, you heard that. And she's going to make it happen for sure. Following up.
Very, very essential.
Very essential.
Very, extremely hot. I tell everybody, don't, like new agents, when I tell them my advice,
okay,
my bossy advice, I tell them, don't expect to get a listing in your first call, even though it can happen. It happened to me one time. The guy was like, can you be here in 30 minutes? And he gave me 2 listings.
Wow.
And it was just rare. Yeah. But I guess it can happen if you call at the right time. But I tell people it's all about calling and then following up 5, 6, 7 times. Like you got to keep following up.
And I always say, like, Ryan Sternhant, right, says this for $1 Million Listing. Follow up, follow back, and follow through, right? So you definitely need to make sure that you follow that strategy, because the money's made on the follow up, right?
Follow-ups. And I do all my follow-ups on Saturdays because everyone's home. And holidays, those 3-day weekends, those Mondays are money-making Mondays because everyone is home. So what I do is, like, people who have canceled on appointment listings with me or any type of listing or any type of appointments, for that Monday, I have a stack. Like, I'll do like 10 of them, and I'll put addresses, and then I'll do a map, and I'll go and just knock at their door. I'll go, hey, Steve, it's Evelyn. I was in the corner. I'm getting a new listing. And what's wrong? And then,
what's going on? And just like go from there.
Yeah. And then a lot of people are not going to close the door on a female.
And they're in front of you. There you go. You see, you're using that to your advantage, and you need to, right? I mean, it's like you want to be able to go and show up, and like for me, like, I'll go with a client, and some clients get intimidated because I'm a guy, and it's like, so you need to know kind of like, what you can use to your advantage. So very cool. Mentor. Hot or not?
Very hot. Yes. Very hot. For your beginning of your career.
Yeah. Self-care.
Very, very crucial. Self-care and self-time.
Self-time. Time for yourself type thing. Very cool. Social media.
For business or for myself?
For just in general.
I don't use it as much as I should because I don't have the time or resources. But I think it's very, very important to do this. What you're doing, YouTube videos, TikTok, all that is very, very important. But because you have a team to help you. So something I don't have yet.
But you're getting there for sure.
In commercial, I don't see much of it.
You don't really.
And a lot of these investors aren't on TikTok. They're just literally
making contact. It's more about the contact, right? And the relationship.
Yeah.
Right? Having a hobby.
Yeah. It is important to a certain extent, but I've also have heard a lot of successful people talk about they're too busy to have a hobby, so they're against it. But I've also have heard podcasts or listened to books where different hobbies can help your brain grow. If you have a hobby of learning a language or have a hobby of learning an instrument, that can help your brain expand. So I am trying to get back into piano actually because I think that will help me just kind of, expand my brain a little bit more.
Yeah. And I think it just helps you grow. Like you take a different perspective on things when you kind of have a hobby, right? You take time to just focus on that activity and then be able to come back to the work, right? That you're
good
doing.
Hobbies.
Good hobbies,
not like
right? Not
at the
bad.
Bar.
Going to a bunch of raves, right? Like that's awesome.
Not those hobbies
anymore, right? Networking events.
Very extremely hot, overheated. Call a fire department.
Okay.
Yeah.
Bring everybody out. Very crucial, like on fire. Like networking is the thing to do.
Yeah, we were just talking about it. How wherever you put yourself at is like who you surround yourself with and who you attract. Those are the people you might end up growing life with. Yeah.
Building a relationship with ultimately, right? And you're a byproduct of your surroundings and the people that are around you, right? So
yes, and the older I'm getting and we're getting, the more selective you get with the people you bring around and who you spend time with. And so if you go to networking events, you're in a room filled with business owners, entrepreneurs, successful people, the same mindset. Like you guys all want to help each other and grow and learn from each other too.
And make money.
Right? Money. That's what
it's about, right? You don't want to be broke, right? It's like that's not I think making money has a bad stigma. Like we need to get rid of that, right? Making money, it's a good thing, so it's good. Very cool. Well, that's it for our game. I think you killed it. Amazing. Thank you for sharing. We have 2 questions that just came in from our followers, from our listeners. And let's start with the first one. So Jonathan is asking, what is your story? What was your journey like? I know that's a broad question, but just a brief little, what is your story and what's your journey?
Yeah, I came from nothing. Wow. I very poor. I didn't really know what poor was until now. I guess I found out people don't think they're poor when they have love, shelter, and, everything. Yeah. My parents gave me that. So I wasn't poor in that sense, but I was poor with material things.
Like the financials type of stuff.
And I'm not a materialistic person because of it. And I'm so grateful because I can save a lot of money.
Yep.
But I came from Lake Elsinore in Riverside, little town. I always knew when I had that drive and I need to get out of here. I need to have a better future. I want to go to college. I knew you didn't need college to become successful, but I went to college to Cal State Dominguez Hills because I wanted to give my parents that privilege and I wanted to walk down and graduate and, make them feel that, wow, like I came to this country for this. Like, this is what parents want to see their kids get a education. So I did that. But my last year of college, I started studying for my real estate license and I knew this is what I wanted to do. If I didn't go to college, I wish I would have became a TC or an assistant to someone just to get things going quick. But my childhood was good. I always participated in ASB in college, high school, and I was always trying to be the president, vice president, commissioner of assemblies. I was always in it. So I guess that's what kind of drove me and, kind of get the idea of how to build projects, teams, and how to become a leader. I want to be a leader. One day I hope I have a team underneath me, but right now, too young.
Yes.
Well, not you.
No, we still have a lot to learn. Yeah.
But what yeah, I mean, my childhood wasn't bad at all. And I think what really, really triggered my mindset was in third grade, my mom sent me to Guatemala because my mom's in Guatemala.
Oh, okay.
And she told me, you need to go to Guatemala 2 months. You got to spend time there. You got to really know where I came from. Because, yeah, I mean, she came from Guatemala. So
yeah.
I went 2 months and I spent time with my grandma, my cousin, and I learned the hard way how she lived, how she ate. And sometimes I wouldn't even eat because the food was just so different. And my mom was like, what do you think I ate? Like, she was always constantly reminding me, like, what do you think I ate? How do you think I went to work? How do you, like, how do you think I lived with fear? Yeah, you have to get on the bus. And so that kind of like made a mind shift when I came here, when I came back home from vacation, and I realized, wow, like I have a whole different world here. I can do anything here. And my mom always built that confidence, like you can do anything, show people what you're made of. So I always had that confidence. So I'm grateful for it. Like the confidence of you can do anything, and the bad, like the worst thing anyone can do to you is say no.
Yeah.
And then that's it.
And the worst thing that could happen is that you fail, right?
You fail.
And you fail, and then you learn and you get back up.
You cry, you let it out.
And you keep going.
And you keep going.
Wow. That's inspirational.
But yeah, honestly. As far as like my upbringing, it wasn't bad. I'm really grateful because, some upbringings can be a little bit
traumatic. Yeah.
But
you had a good one. And it's like, it sounds like you're striving to just make your parents proud. And reach some big high goals that you have. And
also give my future kids, when I have a family, the life I never had. I don't want them to have the life I had. It wasn't bad, but I know there is better. Like so much better.
Wow. And you're open to that, and that's amazing.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you for answering that. Thank you for being honest. That's a great answer. Vanessa is actually asking us, what's one horror story that you're willing to share that you've had with a client?
With a client, okay. I think it was this year, actually.
Or a lead, right? It doesn't have to be a client, but just a lead. Someone, one horror story you've had in the industry, if you can't think of one with a client.
Yeah, it wasn't that bad, but because I haven't been in the industry for too long, but it was kind of bad.
Okay. But
I think I'll have worse. Oh, okay. That's what I'm trying to say.
I love that perspective. That's a good perspective.
So I had a 1031 exchange client in Mar Vista. He's a Latino, no English. I was working with my coworker Molly, and the whole plan was to sell him, get a lease back for 6 months, and then in those 6 months buy in Realtor, San Bernardino, like that area. And so, okay, that was the plan. We got a buyer. The buyer was like, no worries. I'll work with them. I'll work I don't need to move in. No problem. They'll pay me back. And then when 2 months before the loan got funded, the buyer was like, they need to move out. They have a week to move out. They can't, I don't want them there. So the buyer kind of fooled us. Mm-hmm. And so put me in a really bad place because the seller had nowhere to go. But I didn't feel bad because he had $1 million sitting in cash.
The bank,
So he could buy. He just didn't want to buy yet. But he could if he wanted,
Yeah.
And we were taking him out to showings and finding him properties. And little did I know that he was working with 2 other agents.
Oh, wow.
On the buy side, even though I sold his property. So he was having all these other agents find him stuff. Mm-hmm. And then the other agent found him a good deal. And he told me, oh, can you let my agent know, blah, blah, blah. So anyways, like he did have to move out in a week after closing. He found a property, but it wasn't with me. And it was just one of those like, okay, I should have had him sign the buyer,
for the
1031 exchange. Yeah. And then the last day I had to go have like paperwork signed. He just didn't acknowledge me. He ignored me, and that was probably it. Awesome. He has a home. He's not homeless. He's good.
He's good. Okay, well that's it. That's the upside, right? That's a good side. Have you ever done a traditional real estate deal other than a non-commercial? Have you ever done like a residential one?
So now this year, actually, I'm doing a lot of residential from the 1031 exchanges because a lot of these like 5-unit owners are seeing that, if the tenant doesn't pay, you can't increase rents. It's better for them to just sell and then buy homes because those don't have the same rules. Single family homes don't have the same rules for tenants.
Of course.
And so we're doing a lot of buying on the exchange part. But for me to help a buyer buy a home, like if so-and-so said, help me, I will say respectfully, no. But if I'm selling your property and you have $1 million, yes, I'll help you
buy a house.
We'll buy 4, 3.
Yeah. That's awesome. Okay, very cool. What's the geographical location that you kind of specialize in?
Well, the first year when I started, I was all over the place. Every day I was cold calling different zip codes, and I'm only selecting Spanish-speaking names. So I'm very specific.
Oh, okay.
So that's why the first year...
So Martinez is like a big one on your list.
Martin, Juana. I tell my friends at work, I'm like, if you see a Juan, Jose, Raul, send them over. Yeah. Do not call. Or just say, ¿quieres vender? If they say yes, send them over. And then we'll share the list. So like I train them too.
That's cool.
But now I'm only specifically dealing in South LA, South Central LA, South Bay. Only because now I'm starting to realize the farther I go, I have to drive farther, and time is money.
Time is money.
I just want to get there 20 minutes, come back, 20 minutes, come back,
Yes.
So I'm sticking in the 110 in the 405.
Oh, cool. That area. Mm-hmm. Interesting. So if you got any agents out there that have any referrals, you know who to send them to.
Sell.
Yeah. Any investment deals. Evelyn's your girl for sure.
I'm staying out of your market.
You're staying out. Don't worry about it. Mainly residential, Norwalk, Downey area. Okay, we're good. Where do you see the market going right now? A market shifting.
Yeah.
Where do you see it going 6 months, 9 months, 12 months out?
Well, I haven't been in the industry long enough to know what can happen, but from what I am seeing, prices are falling.
Okay.
But there's also not a lot of competition. It's a good time to also buy because let's say I have a listing for $900,000 and it's really worth now $810 or $790. It's still sellable if the right buyer came in to buy it. And we're not seeing a lot of offers. And I've had success these past 2-3 months representing buyers, like the top buyers, submit lowball offers and getting them accepted, like 100,000 below.
And lock them in.
And I lock them in. I tell them it's because there's no competition. I know because I'm not getting anything. So let's do it. Come in 150,000 less.
And let's shoot and let's try.
And yeah, like we have 3 escrows like that.
Yeah. And I think that like when it comes as an investor, right? Like if it cash flows, the rents are going to go down, right? And so like if that puppy cash flows, it's a good deal.
Right.
It's like a no-brainer. And if you could lock one in under your terms that benefits your portfolio, it's like go for it, right?
Yeah.
So, very cool. Well, Evelyn, thank you so much for being on the podcast. It was an amazing second episode. I am super, super happy. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Sergio.
Rock on. Okay, you guys, that's a wrap, and thank you so much for watching our show today, The Real Entrepreneurs with Sergio Angulo. If this show brought any value to you, make sure to go like, follow, share at Sergio Angulo Homes on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram, and make it a great, great day.